This is the Average to Savage podcast with Paul Guarino. Everyone and anyone, athletes, celebs, and much more.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Average Savage podcast. Our special guest today is Steven So-Called Nelson. What's up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I'm doing great too, man. It's a beautiful day.
I just gotta let you know that was the first time I did the intro like that. So like I usually do it on I just call you up and I do it and I put it on TikTok. But I was like, let me do it live on the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just go back in time a little bit. I know you were in the Army, and I believe that's where you got started in boxing. But tell me how you got into boxing.
Yeah, I started boxing, at age 21. I was in the Army, and I was in the Army, and my commander told us, "Hey, if you guys want to do any extracurricular type, activities that'll keep y'all in shape, y'all don't have to come in and do the regular Army workout, which is push-ups, sit-ups, runs, stuff like that." So I was like, you know what? I always been interested in boxing. I grew up with Terrence Crawford, and we used to hang out around the same neighborhood. We didn't got into street fights together and all that. And so I was like, you know what? I want to try boxing. So I went to a local boxing gym in North Carolina, and I started boxing. And within the first week, the coach noticed I was just naturally talented at it, because he was like, "How long you been boxing?" I'm like, "A week." He like, "No, how long you been boxing in total?" I'm like, "A week." He's like, "Oh, well, man, you gotta keep doing it." So I look up. I went to my first All Army tournament. Like a year into boxing, I was winning tournaments and stuff back in North Carolina and beating up on pros and people around that area, and people just caught on fast. And by 2012, I started in 2010. By 2012, I went to the national reloads, they call them, which was like Olympic trials essentially. I went there and I beat like I beat two prior national champions, and I made it to the finals against Marcus Brown. A lot of people who was in attendance, they say they could have went either way. They figure I won, but they gave him the nod. So I was the Olympic alternate, or training partner, you should say, going to the Olympics in 2012. I went to London and everything, and was with the team. Errol Spence, Jamel Herring, Rasheed Warren, Marcus Brown, Michael Hunter, all those guys who was on the team together. So it was a dope experience for me. So when I came back, that's when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna really stick to this. And I came back, and in the 3 years prior, after that, I won all of the national tournaments there is in the USA. It was USA Nationals, National Golden Gloves, National Pals Tournament, Ringside Tournament, Title Tournament, All Army, Armed Forces.
Everything.
I won everything. I went pro in 2016, and now I'm 18-0, 15 knockouts, and had a little setback a couple years ago, which set me down for about 2 years. I tore my Achilles, so it slowed my career down, especially being at my age. So now I'm back. I fought December 10th. I'm back in the game. I'm ready to, light up the scene for super light heavyweight.
Yeah. So going back a little more, you grew up in Nebraska, right?
Yeah, Omaha, Nebraska, North Omaha.
So I know you mentioned it. So how did you and Terrence meet?
We went to some of the same schools, and we literally hung out with the same guys in the hood, we call it. So we hung out together. We've like I said, we've had street fights where we done got jumped together and beat up some guys. Like, it's my boy growing up. So
That's crazy. So you guys knew each other before boxing. That's crazy.
yeah.
And then what made you join the Army?
Because I was going back saying, being in North Omaha, there wasn't any opportunities for a young black kid, with never met my father, and bouncing around from household to household around my family, I didn't have any direction. Getting kicked in and out of school, every week is in and out of school. Luckily, I had some good administrators that looked out for me that knew my family. Otherwise, I wouldn't have graduated. But it got to a point where everybody around me was either getting locked up or getting killed. I say around me, I mean like my homeboy. We shaking hands every day, and they all locked up and dead. Even today, like all my homeboys is locked up or dead. So I looked at it, and I had to think about it. Like, okay, if this happened to 1, 2, 3, I'm 4. It's gonna happen to me. I need to get out of here. And the only thing I could think of was military. They pay you. They teach you skills. They groom you to being a man. They give you all kind of opportunities. You get all kind of benefits. So I was like, why not? Went to the military. Went to the army. I went and signed up May 3rd. By May 21st, I was shipped off.
Jeez,
Yep.
that's crazy.
I scored a high score on my test. I was just blessed with having that intellect, and I scored a high score, so I got to be a satellite communication specialist. So I went to the Army to, I was basically like the sprint for the Army. Like we set up all kind of communications and internet and computers and radios and anything to do with satellite communications. I did.
Nice. And then how long were you in the Army for?
I was in the Army for um, technically 8 years, but I served 7.5 active. In the last 6 months, I did inactive.
Gotcha. And then what about how is like how did the Army like help you in boxing?
Man, it made it so when I train and I get tired or I'm just fed up and I don't want to keep pushing. The Army taught me to keep pushing, no matter what. That's one thing being in basic training and being in the military. Your job is no matter what, you get the task done. Cause it's just like when you're in war. If you're in war and something happens, you get shot. You can't just lay down and just give up. Or if a buddy get hurt, like you gotta pick up the pace. You gotta fall in suit and do what you gotta do to get that mission done. So in boxing, it's the same thing. People say, "Man, you got injured. You had this happen. It's hard to find a promoter, manager, whatever." What keeps you going? And it's that hunger and resilience. I never, if anybody that know me, I don't quit anything I start until it's the end, until I just can't go no more. Until my body say, Steven, like you done, I'm not done. We keep going.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you mentioned it before. So you are campaigning now at light heavyweight instead of super middleweight.
Well, on my first comeback fight, to make it easy, so I had to worry about trying to make 168 because I walk around 200 pounds plus time. So it was like, let's do 175. Just make it easy, and then work my way back down to 168. It's only 7 pound difference in both of those weight classes. I can do it. I got like I said, I got the hunger, I got the work ethic. I know what I need to do. I got the right nutritionists around me. I got the right tools. So ain't no reason why I can't do 168, 175, both of them, really.
For sure. I like you mentioned you're 18-0 with 15 knockouts. What does it feel like to get a knockout?
Um, it's a bittersweet feeling. It's like you train 8 weeks hard every day, 3 times a day, working out, no days off, and you go in here and you knock somebody out in the first round or first couple rounds. It's like, man, I wanted a little bit more work from them, but like they always say, if they don't need to be in there, get them out of there. Send them home. So, I mean, any fights I've had past 6 rounds never lasted. The only ones that made it past 6 rounds, the only ones that made it to the end of the fights were all like 4 rounders. Maybe I had 1 6 rounder that made it, but rest of them after that was all and get them out of there. I ain't got time to play for no 10 rounds, 12 rounds.
For sure. Yeah, you had I believe you had 3 scheduled 10 rounders, but you only went 8. It was the
Yeah,
farthest they went.
right.
Um So what's your next plans and like what's your goals for this year and beyond?
My goal is to make a deal with a major network, um, a promotion company of that sort, because I feel like I'm a free agent right now. I'm a free agent when it comes to being under a promoter, being under a banner. So that would be a big goal of mine, is to get signed to a big promotion company or network, and get some notable fights under my belt, because I'm 34 years old now. I ain't got time to sit around and play. I want to show the world that I'm really good. Like, I'm really that dude.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of really that dude, I don't know what you don't do, but you do a lot of different things. You make your own trunks. You're a handyman. I seen you painting yourself, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know, like you do it all. Like where do you like how do you like learn all this stuff? And then like what like I don't even know how to explain it. It's just dope.
I mean, I'm an advocate of, if somebody else can do it, so can I. So if I'm interested in anything, I'm not gonna just admire it. I'm gonna do it myself too. I'm gonna figure out what he's doing, what she's doing, whoever, what they're doing to perfect what they're doing, and I'm gonna do the same thing. That's how I've been about anything since I was a kid. Like, I'm always asking questions, watching. I'm very observant. Like, what's going on? That's how I picked up boxing so fast. Like, I sit back. I'm like, okay, I need to see what the other guys in the gym doing. Then once I outdo them, I'm looking up now. I'm like, okay, I already surpassed everybody in my gym. Now I need to look up and who's the best in the state. Surpass them. Who the best in the nation? You know what I mean? Now watching pro fights, I want to see who's the best out here. I'm watching Floyd Mayweather, trying to figure out everything. I'm taking bits and pieces from everybody. And that's what anything I do, I take bits and pieces from people that are good at whatever I'm trying to do.
What's the most random thing you learned, like picked up and learned?
Um, I think it's two things. I just recently, not recently, like when I got injured, I was like, you know what? I always wanted to fly planes, and I went on. I learned how to fly planes. I haven't got my license yet because I stopped doing the training so I can focus on boxing. But I know how to operate a plane. If something happened right now and we had to go get in the plane, I can operate it. I fly, I can land it, I can take it off, whatever. Uh, I've done that. I got about 22 hours under my belt, pilot. I think another random thing I learned is one of my exes. She used to do her own hair, and I used to sit back and watch her all the time. Man, one day she was like, I'm tired of doing my own hair. I was like, I can do it. She was like, you're right. I was like, I watch you all the time. I can do it. So I help her do her sewing, and I started helping her do her hair. It was like, you know how to do hair? I'm like, yeah, I just picked it up.
There you go. Jeez. I don't know. You might have to switch your nickname to like Mister Do It All.
Yeah, but if people who know the slang, the slang word so cold, it, I'm so cold. Like, man, you cold at everything you do. Like, so that's where my name came from.
Yeah, gotcha. That makes sense. Um, with the painting, like you just always were good at like drawing and painting.
Yeah, painting was one of my first gifts that I picked up when I was in the fourth grade. A guy used to come to school, and he would draw like Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon characters, and he would sell them for $1. So I'm like, man, I want to make money too. So I try to draw, and like, it took me forever. I sucked, but by the end of the school year, I was the best artist in the class. Everybody would start buying them from me. I'm doing drawings and stuff, and then people in my family noticed that I was into art, and they start putting me in different classes and different weekend courses and stuff for art. And every year in school, I always did an art class, so I always just picked up more and more art skills and stuff. And I think the first painting I ever did was when I was 15. I actually got kicked out of school, and my grandmother owns a daycare, And I went to the daycare and she was like, go in that room and just start painting. Just start doing something. Get out my face. So it was this room, big 20 by 20-foot room. And I was just like, I was kind of being an asshole. I just started painting on the wall. But it started coming together and walk in. And now you go in there, there's a big rainforest to go all the way around with all different animals, monkeys and giraffes and elephants and alligators and mountains. And it's a whole scene. You walk in like a different dimension. That was one of my first paintings. I was 15 years old. It took me about 6 months to do.
Yeah. That's that. I mean, it's just crazy. Yeah, because like, all right, all the things you like we mentioned before, like I feel like anyone could pick up, but like painting, no one could just like pick that up. Like you gotta
Yeah,
be like either you gotta work really hard at it, or you just have to have like the talent because
yeah,
that's just different.
yeah. I think if you would say, "Man, what don't you do?" and I think the only thing I always say is sing. Like I can't sing. I can't sing, but anything else, I feel like I can do. I can do anything else, but singing, that's one of them things where you gotta start doing that when you're young and grow into it and take vocal classes and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Going back to fighting, what do you think your toughest fight was so far?
Um, my toughest fight, I think, as far as my okay, I got two stories. I'm gonna give you two stories. My first time I faced adversity was um I fought this guy. He was from Mexico. He was 5-5. And I'm like, oh, this is 5-5. I'm about to go in here and knock him out. So I was just relaxed in camp and I was just taking it for granted. And I was just like bullshitting in camp. And I got in a fight and he was like looping his punches. Boom. And then every time I would punch, he would put his head down like this. I hit the top of his head. So I'm punching him hard as I can, trying to knock him out. But I messed both of my knuckles up in the fight. Both of my hands was hurt, so I was like, man, I gotta start boxing. And then he caught me with like a looping like hook back in my head, and I'm looking at the ref like, you don't see that? And the ref was like, fight. I'm like, oh man, the ref ain't calling me, so I was just like, oh man, I gotta box. And I just started outboxing. And that was the first time I think we went to the distance. But yeah, and actually the same guy we brought him to camp, and Bud was sparring him and Bud messed his hand up on his head. And Bud fight had to get pushed back. This was like a couple years ago. He was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight in April. He ended up fighting in June because his hands he had messed his hand up. On the same dude, I'm like, man. And then I mean after that, the most adversity I faced in the fight was when I fought in the bubble and I got 2 cuts on my eyes from headbutts. And the blood was just in my eyes, and all I seen was like yellow. I couldn't really see nothing, and everybody thought I was gonna fold, but I turned it up and I knocked them out. Like I ain't about to play no more. I went in there and I turned the level on fire. And people like, man, I ain't seen this side of you before in the ring. So that's where I showed the most grit to me in the fight.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's dope that you mentioned like the 5-5 guys because those guys you never know. Like even though obviously you're the favorite in the A side, but there's those random guys that just come to fight.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned. Like after that, no matter what, I don't care what the opponent record is, the experience they have, I treat every fight like a championship fight.
Yeah, for sure. Now I know you won the WBO and NABO super middleweight belt. I know it's like a minor belt, but did that mean anything to you?
It did mean something because it was a step forward towards the belt, and I knew that when it comes to boxing, it's a lot of political things, so it puts you in the light of okay, we got NABO champ, we got this champ, we have interim, whatever, but it puts you on that top echelon of your weight class. So it was very important to me uh, to get that belt.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then just going back into your, I guess, outside of outside of boxing, sort of. I see you've been training like youth fighters. So what has that been like?
Well, yeah, I'm the executive director of B&B Sports Academy, which was founded by Terrence Crawford and head coach Bomac, Bud and Bomac, B&B. And when we got the funding to get an executive director for the nonprofit, um, the board members knew who I was and knew that I fit the best description for that job. Being with all the things I'm gonna do, how the kids look up to me, my experience in the military and working at the daycare with kids, like it just fit me perfect. So it's been great to see I'm putting together programs to give back. Not I ain't gonna say to give back. Putting together these programs to inspire the youth and help the youths get to a different level in their life because I knew how it affected me. I knew how boxing and combat sports have changed lives with people around me, being me and Terrence Crawford and other people around us and the coaches. Like if it wasn't for boxing, a lot of us wouldn't be in the places we're in right now. So it's very important for me to show the kids that not only using boxing is a tool because it builds discipline, accountability, resilience in life, but it also gives you opportunity because in our program we try to focus on other things besides boxing. I'm trying to do life skills, talent development classes and events, and I'm just building this community around us where it gives kids things to do and open up doorways for them to see what's out there to do. It's not always basketball, football, or rapping. There's so many other avenues you can go down, and that's my objective of building programs in B&B Sports Academy.
Yeah, definitely. That's dope. All right, you ready for some fun questions?
Yeah.
All right, who's your dream fight like that's alive, and then who's your dream fight like dead or alive?
Um, a live dream fight right now would be Canelo. Because obvious he the man, and he got all the titles in our weight class. So,
And who'd you be your dream fight dead or alive?
um, dream fight Muhammad Ali. Just to be, yeah, just because of him as a person, how fun he's going to make. The press conference and the fight, and it's to be etched in history as a person that beat up Muhammad Ali. Oh, but this being the person that is be on, this to have that fight, that's the special fight, that I will have will be Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, definitely. Now I know Terrence was in Creed 3, so I know you got to see it, right?
Yeah, yeah. I actually took all the kids from the gym. I rented out the movie theater, and we had a private showing for it 2 days ago.
That's dope. All right, so give me a rating of how it was, like 1 through 10.
Um, I think the movie was a 10. I have to give it a 10 because not only the movie, but to take the kids for them to be inspired and see that the person they're training right next to is in a Hollywood movie, a number one blockbuster movie. Like it's a 10. It inspires so much from my community and the kids around us. To see where Terrence come from to being in movies and a boxing movie at that. So
Yeah, that's dope. I didn't see it yet, but I'm going to see it this weekend for sure.
yeah, definitely.
Um, are you a sneaker head?
I am. I got almost 200 pair of sneakers.
All right, so give me your top three favorite sneakers.
Top three, the 11s is one. Any color 11s is one Jordan. Number two was I got some they called the wing 12s where you rub off and it display wings. That's my number two. And number three is the Marty McFly's.
All right, yeah, those are fire.
Yeah.
um, could you give me your Mount Rushmore of boxers of all time? I think so. It's top. Well, we're doing top five. Top five.
It's funny you say that because I actually painted a picture. I painted a picture and I call it Mount Boxmore. I got Muhammad Ali. I got Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson, and Floyd Mayweather over here by itself. He's a whole different genre.
All right, I like that. I was about to say at first I didn't think you were about to have Floyd in there. I was about to say I don't know.
Yeah, I picked Floyd because like boxing skill wise and how he elevated the game and you know made the biggest person of all time. Because at the end of the day, nobody wants to do it for free. You know what I mean? For him to like change so many lives as he's done, you know, with boxing, you had. That's why I put him on that fourth one by himself because he's a different. You know, it wasn't just boxing. And of course, Muhammad Ali was number one because you know he's the leader of all time for me. And then Mike Tyson.
Yeah, for sure. What do you
I
what do
mean,
you think about
I said Sugar Ray.
what do you think of all this new influencer boxing with the YouTubers and like KSI and Jake Paul and all that?
Um, as a boxer, it's a lot of people get mad about it, but when you be honest about it, like you can't get mad because somebody took their following from one organization and brought it over to boxing because they're actually bring more light to boxing. And we can't blame them for getting paid for what they're getting paid. Like if I could do the same thing, I would do it. If I could have built a following on YouTube before I started boxing and then converted that into boxing and being a good boxer and took it serious, why wouldn't I? You know, so it's a lot of jealousy in the boxing world when it comes to that.
No, so you're logical.
Yeah,
People don't think about it like that. That's why
yeah.
it's all about. That's why not even just boxing, just athletes in general and celebrities. Like you can't just be a boxer or an athlete or anymore. You have to brand
It's
yourself and do everything. Like you have to put yourself out there more.
yeah, that's the whole purpose of the marketing the fight press conference. If you go to the press conference, you like, hey, I'm Steve Nelson. Yeah, I fight Saturday. Hope you guys come out. What are you doing to bring anybody in there? That's like you put a movie out right now and you say, hey, Creed 3 is coming out. No trailer. This Creed 3 is coming out, y'all. Go watch it. You're not promoting it. You have to promote yourself. There's so much to it. You have to know how to talk. You got to know how to be in front of these cameras. You got to know how to do it. And sometimes for me, I get mad. I get mad at nobody. I get mad at the boxing world because I have so much of those things to offer, but I just haven't been placed in the right position to show the world that man, this dude like he's a well-rounded guy. He can fight. He don't. He's not. He really can fight. He's well spoken. You know, he's talented in other ways. He make his own walkout uniforms. What else can you ask for? Like, I just wonder, like, why don't people gravitate to it? But you know, like, I don't know. I just keep working and pushing towards it, and hopefully, you know, I get in front of the right eyes where you know I can put on display and show people like that can be inspiring in so many different ways besides just going to the ring and fighting.
Yeah, for sure. No, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to work with you too, just because like I've
Yeah,
seen you years and years and years do your thing, and that's why I was just like, and when Raquel hit me up about you, I was like, yeah, of course I would want to work with Steven. I already been seeing like all of his stuff for the years, so that's why I like that. And the same thing, like I don't I don't want to sound like I guess cocky or whatever, but I don't work with everybody that comes to me or whatever, you know, like
yeah,
people DM me all the time. Like if you don't like, it's the same thing. It's just like anything else. Like all these athletes, you know, you put in the work to train and stuff, but you got to put out outside too to get bigger and bigger. And then people don't want to do that. You got to go the extra mile.
yeah. Cause my big that was because like even seeing the Creed movie, it was inspiring me to see other boxers because I used to see like military movies and boxing movies, and they don't use actual boxers and actual people who've been in the military. And I've always to be an actor. I'm like, man, I always wanted to act, man. I want to act on the act. But now to see Creed and have other boxers that I see, like, Terrence and Jose and, other people that's into boxing and the people, Coach Boog that does mitts and stuff. To see those people in the movies is dope. And it's inspiring for me to be like, I got a chance to you know, break that level where I can get into acting as well. Because that's my whole goal, is to transfer from what I'm doing boxing to, other avenues that I want to do.
Definitely. All right, last question. What's your after the weigh-ins or after the fight, which either or, what's your favorite cheat meal?
Um. Okay, this is a chance for me to educate other fighters too. I don't believe in having cheat meals after weigh-ins. I maintain a diet because that's why people be sluggish in the ring. But after I fight, when I get done fighting, I'm big on seafood. So I will go to a seafood restaurant and stuff myself with seafood, crab legs, lobster tails, and and the whole nine, lobster mac and cheese and everything. I'm going to tear it up. But after I fight, the most I might have is like I might have like a candy bar or something. But as far as meal for energy, I eat the same thing I've been eating through camp. Eat healthy. I got that same energy going into the ring.
For sure. All right, Steven. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and could you let the listeners know where to follow you at?
Hey y'all, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm heavy on there. You want to see some comedy, you want to see some inspiring things, you want to see everything I do, follow me on Instagram at Steven Nelson Boxing. Same thing on TikTok, Steven Nelson Boxing. Instagram, So Cold Nelson. Not Instagram, Twitter, So Cold Nelson. And of course Facebook, Steven So Cold Nelson. I appreciate everybody tuning in and check me out, man. I promise you, no matter what you do in life, you will be inspired. You will see all the things that I can offer you as a fan, as a person, as a friend. Uh, hit that follow button.